I'll turn it over to Todd. And thanks to Jack Fireman for being the patron and helping out financially for Terry's induction. So, Todd.
Thank you, John. Good morning. I begin with a quote from John in Seattle. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. I had the privilege of working with Terry Baytor for over 2 decades since 1995. I am honored to speak to you about my mentor and how he inspired others to dream more, learn more, do more, and be more. Over the years, I have watched him accomplish some significant things, and it can be directly attributed to his skills as a leader. Dale McMahon, World Baseball Softball Confederation Vice President, said, Terry Baytor is one of those unique individuals who has the ability to bring a group of individuals together and mold them into a team. He makes everyone feel important and teaches them to believe in themselves despite the odds. Terry is a tremendously loyal person, and his trust and respect for his athletes is returned in the efforts to dig deep and find whatever it takes to be successful. While Terry's ability to lead teams to victory is certainly impressive, it's his ability to read athletes and get them the most out of them when it counts that sets him apart from his peers. Brian Pat, 2011 Hall of Fame inductee. Terry reads people extremely well and knows how to challenge them to perform. He respects his players and shows confidence in them even when they may not feel confident in themselves. He has learned the secret of how consistently get the most out of people when it matters most. The character of a team is reflected in the standards they set for themselves. Mark Smith, 2004 Hall of Fame inductee. Terry has won everything there is to win in softball with teams that were favored and with teams that were underdogs. He simply knows how to win. He has raised the bar in terms of expectations and set the standard for how teams past, present, and future are expected to perform. John Beckler, 2010 Hall of Fame inductee. Never did I play against a team that Terry was managing that was not exceptionally well prepared. Terry forced you to bring your A game each and every time out. But what I will remember most about his teams is the degree of class that they showed, both in victory and defeat, and the pride that his team showed. I think this is a true testament to Terry and the type of person he is and what he believes in. Terry was the heart and soul of the teams he managed. He expected the best, demanded the best. Rob Gray, 2018 Hall of Fame inductee. Terry was the best motivator I've ever played for. He has the ability to read players' personalities and push the right buttons to make you be better. He also has a unique ability to have players want to win for him as well as their teammates. He never dwells on the negative, but instead highlights the positive in every situation. Adam Smith, 2012 Hall of Fame inductee. I have the greatest amount of respect for Terry and all he has done in the game. He was consistent with the structure of time spent on the field while allowing time to enjoy the moment. Terry had a great natural way of team building, allowing the players to be themselves, which in turn created a tight-knit team. I appreciate that he took care of all the outside distractions and allowed me to play the game. Personally, I am grateful for the confidence he showed in me and the success we had together. Terry was always caring for others. Take your knowledge, experience, and enthusiasm and share it with others. Teach them everything you know about winning. Teach them about class. Teach them how to overcome adversity. You can leave them with memories of a true champion who has cared enough for his sport to give something back. What better way to leave something behind than to put yourself in the shoes of an athlete and help him live his dreams as you have lived yours. This is stuff that makes dreams come true. Terry's philosophy was, Role players became good players. Good players became great players. And great players pushed themselves even further. Terry has earned the respect as a player's coach, a motivator, and a student of the game. I'll conclude with his final words as we left the field in 2016, ISC champions again. Walk together forever. Terry has inspired others to dream more, learn more, do more, and be more. I am honored and pleased to be one of the presenters of my mentor and best friend, 2019 Hall of Fame inductee, Terry Baytor.
Okay, we'll turn it over to Blair Setford now. Blair?
Thanks, Todd, and congratulations to all of today's Hall of Fame inductees. Our organization is richer for you having been a part of it over the years. When Terry came back to the Toronto Gators in 2014, he had been away from the game for over 15 years, since 1998. And an entire generation of players had come and gone from the game, and it had changed significantly from the 80s and the 90s. Well, clearly Terry made the adjustments for success. As is often the case, it's the behind-the-scenes pieces that really are in the enjoyment of telling the tale. From Brandon Horn, Terry's a player's coach. He managed our 2016 championship team on a personal level. He had a knack for knowing when I needed a confidence boost, but was also there with a humbling jab when it was appropriate. Terry planned the entire 2016 season as a journey for the team. There were milestones along the way, but they weren't always the obvious ones. From Justin Schofield, Terry was always about the big picture. The tournament that sticks out the most was one in St. Clements. I pitched a complete game win against the Gremlins. Terry left me in from some situations where maybe somebody else would have pulled me, but I developed the confidence that I could beat that team. And we followed it up the next morning by beating Hill United. We advanced to the finals. And then Terry told Sean and I to leave our gloves in our bags. That was the goal for the weekend, to beat the Gremlins and beat Hill. We did that. Terry had a plan for every weekend. Stuck to it. That's the weekend that really turned it up for me, and I think the rest of the team started to believe too. That's from Justin Schofield. That's also Terry instilling a belief in the players that they had what it takes. And unlike the Gators of the 90s, the new Gators, and we already heard a little bit about this from Larry Lynch, the new Gators were comprised not just of the best Canadian players, but the nucleus of that team also came from the New Zealand Black Sox. So how do you take the two biggest rival nations, their core players, and bring them together? It's never been done before, not with that many Kiwis and Canadians. Terry did it. Last words to our co-captain, Ryan Boland. Champions do extra. That was our motto in 2016. 3 simple words. Terry said this leading into the 2016 season. Every few weeks he would check in, ask us, what can you do to better help this team? What can you do better to help this team? There was a trip to Newfoundland along the way that helped bring the team together, created a bond between the players, but there was still more that was needed. Terry told Ryan that there had to be a team meeting to lay it all out there. Drop the tension and the rivalry, come together for just 1 week. We did that, in famous words, now we walk together forever as ISC champions, forever friends. Ryan talked about the confidence that Terry had in him as a person, as a leader, that's resonated not just in his playing career, but in his personal career. Terry's anecdotes, sarcasm, never sarcasm, combined with the experience and the knowledge or traits everybody should pursue as a coach. Terry would make sure that everybody knew their roles, were up to speed with the plan, and were given the opportunity to be ready for the big situations. Champions do extra. You went the extra mile for everybody on that 2016 team. You made that team ready to be champions. Thank you, Ryan, for that. That's a master class in coaching. That's leadership. That's why Terry is amongst the most successful fastball managers in the history of our game. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce Terry Baytor as the 2019 ISC Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much, guys, for that. Distinguished guests, ISC Executive Board of Commissioners, ISC Hall of Fame Selection Committee, my fellow inductees, ladies and gentlemen. I've had the good fortune and the opportunities to speak at a number of Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, both as an individual and as a team inductee. This morning, this will be my final speech for an induction. And I have no words to really describe all of the feelings and emotions that I have as I'm inducted into what I believe is one of the most cherished softball Hall of Fames. I'd like to begin my remarks this morning by congratulating my fellow inductees in the Hall of Fame class of 2019. My sincere congratulations to Corey, Jimmy, Patty, and Darren. Each of you are the most worthy recipients, and all of you have been tremendous ambassadors to both the countries and the club teams that you represent, and to the sport in which you've participated for a lifetime. Talk about feeling old. I started coaching before any of today's other inductees were even born. I guess I represent the old-timers and veterans category this morning. At last year's Hall of Fame ceremony in Kitchener, John Thompson pointed out that there were now 30 Canadians inducted into the ISC Hall. Of those 30, I have managed, coached against, or had a personal relationship with 28. Today with Corey's induction, it makes 29. It's obvious to see that as a head coach for almost 30 years, I've had the pure joy of coaching some of the greatest softball players that have ever played the game. I'm here today only because of their efforts and abilities on my behalf. What I'm most proud of is their continued successful contribution, especially in the coaching field. To both my presenters, Blair and Todd, I'm humbled by your words and my sincere thanks for taking the time to get some player comments, especially from those that could not be here today. It means a great deal to me. Today, as I mentioned, it's not about me, it's about all of the people around me that have made this honor possible, so I hope that you're there with me this morning. My wife, Barb, of 44 years, who is here today, has been the love of my life and the driving force in absolutely everything I've done or accomplished. She's been my soulmate, my best friend, and has shared in all the high and lows, not only in the softball world. Honey, you're the best. She's also humbled me when I needed humbling, which wasn't very often. I can remember an ISC championship win, when I was particularly proud of how well the team had played, how well the coaches had coached, and how well I had managed. I always graded myself after every tournament. That evening at our victory party, I asked Barb, how many softball coaches in the US or Canada do you think are really, really great coaches? She smiled at me, put her hand on my shoulder and said, one fewer than you think, Terry. I never asked the question again. When I retired from coaching the first time in 1998, I think the most disappointed people were my two children, Chris and Alex, who unfortunately could not be here today. 3 children, ages 2, 3, and 5 to take care of. Both grew up at the ballpark, and Alex, with a May birthday, spent more tournaments, weekends celebrating there. However, because of softball, they both had more brothers and sisters than anyone could imagine, and the players I coached and their families became our family too. There are 2 very special coaches that I must pay tribute to because they were my teachers and my mentors, and without them I doubt I would have gone into coaching. The first is my father, Paul, now 97, who introduced me to the sport as a young man in the late 50s and 60s. My father ran a men's fastball league in Toronto, and night after night in the spring and summer months, I watched my father perform all of the volunteer duties associated, scorekeeping, announcing, groundskeeper, all the necessary evils of our game. As an unpaid volunteer, he taught me by word and deed a love and a passion for this sport, and most important of all, he taught me to do things for others, not because you want to, but because you have to. As I look over this audience, I see a lot of my father in a room full of volunteers, executives, officials, and umpires. To me, you have a thankless job, so we could play, and one where many people on the outside find it much easier to criticize than to praise. To each and every one of you, I would like to extend my personal congratulations and appreciation for everything that you've done over the years. At this point, I'd like to acknowledge one of these ISC volunteers and one of my presenters, Blair Setford. Blair, over the past few years, I've never met a more dedicated and passionate person for this sport than you. Thank you for being the driving force behind my Hall of Fame selection. I'll always be indebted to you, and I knew that our 2016 championship season and our Gator ring that you wear proudly meant so much to you. You deserved it, and thank you for presenting it. My second coaching influence was deceased NHL hockey coach Roger Nielsen, who passed away in 2003. Rog, as we called him, was my baseball coach for many years, and it was he who taught me the X's and O's, the fundamental strategies associated with the game. Over the years, as his own professional career grew, he always had time for my letters and calls. Roger's life was coaching, and he taught me how to win, how to game coach, and how to be successful. Roger, I know you're up there looking down, and I hope that I have made you as proud with my softball Hall of Fame selections as many of your other players did with their hockey Hall of Fame ones. Abraham Lincoln, one of my heroes, once said, "I'm a success today because friends believed in me and I didn't have the heart to let them down." I would not have the Hall of Fame coaching career that I've had were it not for the past presidents of Softball Canada, Glenn Reeve and Dale McMahon, who took a chance on a 37-year-old field manager, and Mr. Jack Fireman, who convinced me not once but twice to be a Gator. From 1989 to 99, our Canada and men's national team enjoyed unparalleled success in the international events. And reflecting back, our teams earned the respect and admiration of the entire softball community, both at home and abroad. I'm most pleased that Mark Sorensen is here to support his New Zealand teammates for their induction. I didn't think he came for mine. Our rivalry dates back to when Mark was a 16-year-old national team player, and over the next decade and a half, the two of us shared many wins and losses against one another at both ISC and ISF championship finals and events. I checked the records. We were 3-3 against each other in both. Part of the New Zealand All-Black rugby team creed is to leave the jersey in a better place. Mark, playing against your New Zealand national team, NHCD, and all-car teams in the most pressure-packed situations made me a better coach. And I only hope that I have left my national team jersey and my Gator jersey in a better place for others to follow. The other individual, perhaps more instrumental than anyone, is my friend, owner, sponsor of the Gators, Mr. Jack Fireman, and my patron for this ceremony. Unfortunately, Jack, who has attended every Gator ISC Hall of Fame induction, could not be here for health reasons, but I know he's here in spirit. As I said when our team was inducted into the Softball Canada Hall of Fame last November, his vision and dream was to build and maintain the best softball organization in the game, one that would be imitated, respected, with a standard of excellence that others would aspire to. He believed we should never measure ourselves by what we've accomplished, but rather what we should have accomplished with our abilities. He always expected and demanded the best, and success was the only option. He never let the noise of others' opinions diminish his thinking, and most important of all, he had the conviction to follow his heart. Believe it or not, I always believed that Jack was one of our secret psychological weapons and advantages over teams that we played in the 90s. Prior to games, Jack would always lock the entire ball field. During warm-up, he would come into our pregame huddle and then position himself in the team dugout. I used to laugh to Todd that opposing players wasted time and time again commenting about Jack's presence on the field instead of focusing on their warm-up. For the record, Mr. Fireman was a pleasure to coach and manage for. Not once did he ever question anything I ever did on the field, including lineups. Jack was always hungry for knowledge and understanding of the game. Jack always had a team dinner, players only, prior to the ISC tournament, with all the bells and whistles. Following the dinner, he always gave his motivational pep talk for the upcoming tournament. In his remarks, he never failed to tell the team that we had the best coach in the world. When you hear that, whether it's warranted or not, you wanted to do your very best for Jack. I would not be here today if Jack had not convinced me to manage after a 16-year absence. After all, it's easy to be forgotten when your last club team affiliation was in 1998. Following our successful ISC championship win, I wrote a letter to Jack outlining our team's accomplishments over the years. First Canadian team to win an ISC 1993. First team to lose its first game of the tournament and then come back and win 10 straight, including having to win the winner's bracket final twice, 1995. And his first undefeated ISC championship team in 2016, which ended the Hill dynasty. Believe it or not, that might be Jack's favorite win. When you look back, how many owners or sponsors in ISC history can say that they won ISC titles 21 years apart? A remarkable accomplishment. Jack, I know you're not here, but thank you for believing in me and giving me the opportunity to be part of something special in the world of softball. You are and always will be the greatest Gator. I mentioned earlier in my speech that I would not be here if not for the outstanding individual players that I had the pleasure to coach and be associated with. Time does not permit me to name all the Hall of Famers and future Hall of Famers that make my job a joy each and every day. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. The championship years that we celebrated are moments in time that few ever get to experience. But what's most important are not so much the wins and the championships, but rather the experiences of the players you coached and played with. To all of my players, as I've been your teacher and mentor, so you have been mine. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to captain and steer so many beautiful ships. I only hope that our coaching staffs have given you as much in return in your growth and development, both as individuals and players, as you gave us. It goes without saying that no field manager gets inducted into any hall without the support of excellent assistant coaches. Over the years, I've been fortunate to have many at both the national and club team level. Mark, Les, Bob, Dave, Blair are but a few, but none has meant more to me than one of my presenters today, Todd Idenouye. Todd's been with me since day one. We've traveled the world together, both as Gators 1 and 2, and as an ad hoc national team scout and coach. We spent countless hours scouting, collecting opposing team data and stats, you more so than me, and coming up with winning game plans. No one ever won more coin flips at an ISC tournament than Todd. Todd, I thank you for your friendship, your loyalty, your ability to challenge me, and for your major contributions to all of our team's successes. My successes have been your successes. I want you to know how much your efforts are appreciated. I often spoke at clinics. I would say that assistant coaches don't wear out, they rust out if not taken care of. I sincerely hope that I took care of you the same way that you took care of me. At home in my office, hanging on the wall, I have a small saying that was given to me by former hockey legend coach Scotty Bowman. These are words that I have tried to use throughout both my coaching and my professional career. A short course in human relations. 6 most important words, I admit I made a mistake. 5 most important words, you did a good job. The 4 most important words, what is your opinion? 3 most important words, if you please. 2 most important words, thank you. The 1 most important word, we. The least important word, I. Finally, I want to thank all my past sponsors, coaches, and support staff trainers. For the players here today, and I'm thrilled that Adam Smith and Mike Crawford from the old Gators surprised me this morning by coming down a long distance. Thank you so much, guys. It means a great deal to me. To the other players here from the new Gators of 2016, Sean, Ryan, Shane, Stoke, Houtsey, Trudy, I think Tommy and Ben are here. They're the last group I ever coached and will coach. And for that, our championship season together is one that I'll cherish forever. I truly miss you guys, and I want you to know that you have a special place in my heart. Cheers to all who have been part of this journey, and cheers to the past for the incredible memories. I'd be remiss if I did not acknowledge the passing of my 2 coaching colleagues, Rod Peterson and Denny Bruckert, who were true leaders, legends of the game, great adversaries, good friends off the field. I'm honored to be joining your rank as field manager in the hall, and with your passing in the year of your induction, I will never, ever forget you. In closing, once again, I thank the ISC and the selection committee for this honor. I'm truly humbled by it, and I'm at your beck and call in the future. I will leave you with this final words from St. Patrick. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, the rain fall soft upon your fields. And when we meet again, may your God hold you in the palm of his hand. Thank you so much and have a great tournament.
Okay, we have Joe Todd come up for the photo op.